We are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to this live stream. I don't do live streams very often, and I guess that's maybe what makes this a bit more special. We just wanted to do something a little more special for our final podcast episode, didn't we, Steve?
We did indeed. I think most people know kind of what's happening, but yeah, this is the final episode 100. So we wanted to do something a bit special. We originally thought about doing maybe an actual physical live event, didn't we? But yeah, that wasn't going to happen. What with COVID and everything.
No, and I think there's a lot of our listeners that are all around the world as well. So this gives everyone from around the world the opportunity to just come and join in for this, what is hopefully a bit of festive fun, a bit of a last live episode with some of the stars of social media who have graced us with their presence on the podcast over the last few months, which we will bring in very shortly. We have how many guests have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 guests to bring in. So, what do you think, Steve? Should we get them in?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right.
People don't want to see us; they want to see the real entertainers.
Yes. All right. So, the first person I am going to bring in is, you'll all know this guy. It's famous Instagrammer Dan Rothschild, aka Fragrance Weirdo. Here he is.
Good evening. Good evening.
Best dressed man in the room.
Oh, he's gone and put a jacket on because he felt underdressed. I love it.
I knew you'd fucking point it out, you bastards.
Or fragrance underscore
now,
weirdo.
though, mate. You're looking sharp.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, what's your drink of the night?
My drink of the night is a gin and tonic. Nice little Waitrose London dry gin. It's very nice.
Okay. Brill. Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks for giving up your time for us.
A pleasure.
The next person I'm going to bring on is a famous YouTuber that goes by the name of Clemence CC Fragrance. Here she is. Hello, Clemence. How are you?
Good. And you? How is it going?
We're all right. You're in France, aren't you?
Yeah. So sorry for the crappy setting and everything, but yeah, I'm by my parents. We're doing Christmas together. So yeah, I'm in France.
Okay. And what is your drink of the night, Clem?
Well, I've been drinking some champagne, but because I've done 17 hours of trip to come to France, I did sleep 2 or 3 hours last night, so I didn't drink too much, and I'm gonna stop with 1 glass, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Fine. Maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
Well, thank you. I know you've pulled out all the stops to bless you to be on the stream with us today after a long journey. So that's great. Thank you. And just disclaimer: Clemence does not have the best internet connection where she is, so if she drops in and out, that's why.
Yes, thank you.
Looking good for now.
That's probably gonna happen.
All right, we are going to next bring in another famous YouTuber who you might know if you've ever watched the channel FRAG-MENTAL. Hello, Tony.
Hello.
Looking very dapper, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you. How is everyone?
Good.
Very well.
Good.
Very well.
All the better for seeing your gorgeous face.
I hope you've washed that outfit since you wore it for the FRAGCon meetup in London the other month.
It still smells of still smells of the aftershaves and the fragrances I was wearing that night.
Oh, good answer.
No, it's all washed. It's all fresh. It's fine.
All right.
It's good.
What's your drink of the night, Tony?
I am starting on Corona because you must start on a beer, and then I have a fairly new bottle of Proper 12. So that is
Irish whiskey.
ready with my glass and ice. To start drinking.
Very nice. Okay, and I think Tony might win so far for the best background. Sorry, Dan, I know you've put a lot of effort into that, but
so he's not winning the foreground or the background.
Chris, you're saying that, and you have a reindeer on your background.
Oh yeah, I've got a reindeer in the background. Yeah. It's got lights on, but you can't see them. All right, we have one more person to bring in. You will know this other famous YouTuber. It is the leader of FRAGCON, the king of live streams. It's Mr. Smelly.
Hello. Hi, guys. Great to be here.
thank you for joining us, Mr. Smelly. I know you've got a busy live stream schedule yourself, so
There's always room for more.
yeah, it means a lot for you to give it the time.
No, I'm very honoured to be here. Thanks for having me.
So I try and catch up with most of your live streams, Dan, and I think I've mentioned to you that the thing I love most is when you talk about which beer you're drinking. I think you influence me more to drink beer than you do for me to buy fragrances. So I'm looking forward to asking you, what is your drink of the night?
At the moment tonight, I'm just drinking a Pilsner Urquell. Very good. Look at that lovely. I love the design of the can. So yeah, great Czech beer, and it's a good kind of go-to for me. There's always a few of those in my fridge.
Well, you inspired me to buy some nice beer glasses, and I'm drinking one of my I think it's my favorite beer. It's a beer brewed by a York brewery called York Brewery. It's Guzzler.
Oh, we had a Guzzler, didn't we? When I visited you in York.
It is a very fine drop. It's a session pale ale, so you can just drink these all night. They go down.
I'm getting into those kind of English traditional pale ales a bit more lately, actually, because on the live streams, if I drink strong stuff, I'll be really a mess. So I'm getting into my session beers a bit more on the live stream. So yeah, good move.
Yeah, well, if you ever get a chance to try Guzzler, they're a little more. They were very local to York, but Black Sheep have recently bought them out, so you might see them a little more. You can actually order from the website now, from the Black Sheep website, I believe. So I can highly recommend you try a few from York Brewery.
Yorkshire has some great beers, actually. Yeah.
We need to let the co-host do a bit of talking here as well. So, Steve,
I'm just enjoying the view, to be honest. There's all these beautiful people.
You've let me down, mate. You told me you were going to dress up tonight.
This for me is pretty dressed up. To say what I'm drinking tonight, I'm drinking my Secret Santa present from work. So for Secret Santa, I got a big bottle of Baileys. So I thought I'd stick that on the table tonight. I'll be drinking that. It's that, I think,
that's a lot of things to drink.
Alcohol in a Secret Santa is that classic thing when people don't know you, isn't it? It's like, don't know him, what should I get? Get him alcohol. But
did they mistake you for their mum, Steve?
Yeah.
Baileys is always the drink my mum drank. Actually, I've got my ex-girlfriend. She told me we were talking once about the first time you ever kind of went drinking and stuff. So she went drinking with her sister, who was like a few years older than her. She was like 17, 18. They got to the bar. They're all ordering their drinks. She didn't have a drink. She didn't know what her drink was. So she knew, I think, her mum drank Baileys. So they're all going like, oh, gin and tonic, vodka, Coke, whatever. So she was like, I'll have a Baileys and lemonade. and the bar person just looked at her. I was like, really? And she had to style it out. Went, yeah, no, I like that. That's nice. So the bar person poured her a Baileys and lemonade. Obviously, all the milk curdled in the lemonade, and she just had to style it out. And she's like, yeah, no, that's fine. That's what I like. It's my drink. But
so whoever got you that Secret Santa did a quick sort of inventory of what was in the cupboard. So found a bottle of Baileys, dusted it off, went, yeah, that'll fucking do. And, give it Steve.
Somebody, I think I know who it was, because when I went to get the Secret Santa present, they went, oh, do you drink Baileys, Steve? I was like, well, I do now. What would you say? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure, Baileys. I do like it.
Yeah, it's just not a drink that you're sort of typically proud of, but there we go. But
so, I was just going to inform our viewers. I'm used to saying listeners when we do the podcast, but we've actually got viewers tonight. And we've also had a super chat from Centralize. His last Kofi donation, last of the Arse Club. Thank you very much, Barry. So just to explain, this is not yet the podcast. We're going to start in about 10-15 minutes. We're going to actually start the recording of the podcast. It's not going to be any different for anyone viewing. You will still view the entire podcast show. It's just that we're going to make a point of doing the podcast intro as usual, and that from that point, that's what will be downloadable as from Monday as usual for the podcast. So this is sort of the behind the scenes banter of us just getting ready to start the podcast, if you like. Do you want to call out a few people who have joined us, Steve? We've got a few regulars.
Yes, I'm just looking through. So Nick, friend of the show, Nick Harrison, says nothing wrong with a cheeky Baileys. Well done, Nick. Real men drink Baileys. Melissa's in. Oh, she says, "Ooh, Baileys and lemonade." Oh, okay. I thought she was dissing my Baileys. Yeah, Baileys and lemonade's not a good drink. I wouldn't recommend that. Brandon's in. Da Vinci Alchemist.
Yeah,
Everyone
just giving us a super chat. $9.99.
Oh, well done. Could have made it 10 though, couldn't he? I'm joking. Thank you, Brandon, you legend. I saw Steph's in as well. She said she was running a bit late, but we were all looking sharp, so thanks for that. John's in as well. John Snow, shout out to him. There's loads of people. This is like all of our favourite people from FRAG-MENTAL in this chat. This is lovely. This is good to see.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks all for joining us. 102 people. That is wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah, we do need to call out an absence tonight, unfortunately. And I see someone's mentioned in the comments. Lily mentioned, I think, George, the Fragrance Apprentice, should have been here, but he had a prior family engagement that he couldn't get out of, unfortunately. So, George, it's a shame, but he will not be joining us for this evening. But we've got a nice even 6 boxes on screen. I didn't need to pay extra for StreamYard, did I, Steve?
Oh, no, you didn't. Soki London was going to try and join us as well, but she was traveling up north. She's obviously London-based, but she's originally from up north, I think we discussed. So she possibly, I assume, couldn't make it or didn't get back in time or got stuck in traffic. But yeah, like you say, we've got an awesome 6 here. So, I'm well chuffed.
The Sinister 6.
I'm just going to pour some more Baileys.
All right, so let's Clemens, before we start recording the podcast, let's just have a quick little chat about how everyone's doing and what everyone's Christmas plans are, just to get warmed up a little bit. So Clemens, just describe the last sort of day that you've had to get to this point.
I mean, if I describe my last day, it's gonna be like really painful for me, like literally. So
like therapy.
Well, yesterday I took the bus basically at 10 o'clock. I left London at 10, and then I took the boat around mid-afternoon in Dover to go to France. And then in France, I got stuck in Paris-Bercy at like 11 o'clock with people being a little bit dodgy around me. So I was freaking out. So one of my family members had to drive to get me because I was frozen on my own in Paris, scared to death. And then I had to take a car to another bus to travel to Brittany, where my family is living. It took 7 hours, and I couldn't sleep at all. So my last day was a bit epic, but I'm really happy to be in France. It's been quite long, and it's actually one of the first Christmas I'm doing with my family, because usually we are working on that time, so I'm really happy to be there. But I'm really exhausted.
Yeah.
Voilà.
What is a traditional French family Christmas, Clemence? Is it turkey and all the trimmings, or do you do it differently?
Yeah, we're gonna have like turkey for sure, but because we're in Brittany, we love our seafood. So as the entrance, like the entry, we're gonna have like some oysters, some seafood, and then we're gonna have the turkey, and then a lot of cheese, and then of course a lot of wine here and there, like white, champagne, red, everything you can imagine. We're gonna have it. And yeah, that's gonna be it really. Oh, and my dad has got a bakery, so he prepared some like a traditional dessert for us as well, so I can't wait.
Sounds good. Paul Edmonds, long-time subscriber of mine and listener to the podcast, super nice guy, and a super generous donation, £17.99. Thank you so much. That is very, very kind of you. Cheers. Steve, do you want to just have a little chat with anyone in the room?
I'm sort of a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah,
it's like I feel quite touched. Before we kind of get into it, we might come into the actual podcast bit as well. But just want to say again, a big thank you to all of the messages and the comments that we've had, kind of showing support for the podcast. Like everybody's been so nice. We've received some proper, like, really lovely, supportive messages. So yeah, my aim is basically to get through this whole live and recording without kind of getting too emotional, to be honest. So So yeah, I'm sure we're going to hear my like voice kind of quivering or something like that.
I'd quite like to see that though, Steve. You know.
Yeah, well, that's why we're doing it on video, so we can actually see the tears. And
Cute.
Like-
Drink more. It's going to be fine.
Just that's it. I mean, that's a classic. Drink alcohol with depressant. That really perks you up the mood.
Yeah,
That's
it really
gonna help,
helps.
You drink Baileys, just to be clear, it's Baileys.
That really strengthened me up here. A bit of Baileys. But yeah, Nigel, shout out to Nigel as well. He's not here, but he obviously did a little dedication in his live stream to us yesterday, which was lovely. And he even did some like proper like sad music over the top of it. It was like he was trying to kind of make me emotional. So yeah, big shout out to him.
Yeah, that was lovely. Cheers, Nigel.
But yeah, so has everybody? This is kind of open question. So obviously, Clemens, you're at home, so we know what you're doing. Has everybody else kind of finished work? Like Mr. Smelly, have you? I guess your sort of job is YouTubey stuff. So are you going to keep going, or are you done for Christmas?
Yeah, life goes on as normal for me. I'm going to do a live stream to Christmas Eve. I'm going to do a live stream for all the lonely guys out there on Christmas Day. So yeah, we're powering straight through. So yeah, I'm kind of uploading and doing everything I normally do, to be honest with you. So yeah.
And what about you, Dan? Are you finished for Christmas yet, or are you?
I am finished for Christmas.
Nice.
I had a nice chat with my boss earlier, and he let me knock off a few hours early. So I've done all the jobs, like collect the turkey, and even managed to go to the gym this afternoon.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah. And nice to have Christmas Eve off. I think that's the best day for me, Christmas Eve.
Well, I'm working tomorrow, but we normally finish like quite early, so it's like if you book the day off, it sort of feels like a waste because you get to go home early anyway. But Tony, what about you? Because you've obviously started a new job. Are you still working, or are you?
No, I've finished.
Finished, mate.
I finished today was my last day. Not ever, just for Christmas. Back in on the 4th of Jan. So this is the first time actually in probably my working career that I haven't had to do any of Christmas. So the branch that I work at completely shuts down. So I've got a lovely amount of time with the family this year, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So
awesome.
starting with the pub with the in-laws tomorrow. So
nice. It sounds good. And how is the world of farming and selling to farmers?
Yeah, it's going well. Really enjoying it. I've sold my first couple of tractors already, so got me off the mark. And yeah, that's not bad going for December. So it's,
have you had many compliments from the farmers from your fragrances?
No. Mostly when you go on farm, it doesn't smell of very good stuff. So
smells of oud.
Yeah,
it does smell of
fecal. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it smells of oud. So no, I've not had any compliments yet.
All right. Well, you must let us know if you do. I wasn't expecting super chats, guys, because I don't really do live streams very often. But Johnny Jordan, thank you, with $19.99. It's not a Ko-fi, so Steve, maybe we can split it and put it towards some aftershave.
Yes, aftershave. That's I assume you mean traditional old school aftershave, and not not an Americanism for like
bit of splash on
fragrance. Yeah, bit of splash. Sounds good.
Cheers, Johnny. And Steph Walker as well. Thank you. £8.99, a Scotch donation. Steve, what projects are you working on? I've said it before. We'll say it again. Love you in the podcast format. Yeah, I do too. You. Yeah, you. I think you got a good voice. Oh no, it's not going to sound right.
Good face for podcasting, I think.
As well as having a lovely face for YouTube, you've also got a great voice for podcasting. Should we say that?
I've got a face for podcasting and a voice for silent movies. Thank you, Steph. That's lovely. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. The Clone podcast guys are super nice. They've given me an open invitation, so I'm going to be. We've got an episode planned that I'm going to be on that in a couple of weeks. Other than that, nothing is yet. I'm going to enjoy a little break, and then I don't know. I might try and get back to doing the comedy YouTube channel, but I definitely would like to do a podcast again because I do enjoy it. I don't know what. It'd be good to do something other than a fragrance podcast, to be honest. But I don't know if it'd get traction. It's hard, isn't it?
So I'm not plugging the podcast that we're going to be doing in the new year.
But you kind of.
I'm not even going to share the name of it. But when we do get that mobilised, Steve, it'd be great to have you on.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my God, Dan, you're going to do a podcast? I didn't even know.
Yeah. So I mean, the minute we heard these guys were packing up, we saw an opportunity. The market opened up, and no, it's completely incidental, and it's with a couple of other guys, and I won't use this opportunity to plug that. But
well, you can, Dan.
It'd be great to have you on it, Steve.
Is it called the Scent Dweebs?
I'm expecting a lot of swearing.
Yeah. It will be very sweary, I'm afraid. Yes.
Yeah.
And it will probably only be loosely fragrance related.
Amazing.
Oh,
I think we should probably start thinking about the podcast. So starting to record what will be edited down as the podcast. So Steve and I usually have just a little bit of a chit chat before we do that. So we'll sort of have a little bit of that now just before we start. So Steve, you're introing this week, right?
I thought we said you were, but it's fine. I can do it if you want. That's
right?
Fine.
No, that's fine. I'd forgotten, if I'm honest.
See, this is the little peek behind the curtain. Is that basically neither of us like starting the podcast because it's just always awkward and clunky as fuck. Once we start, it's fine, but once you kind of get over that whole welcome to the podcast thing, we're fine. But it's normally just starting it that's awkward.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is I will intro it. I'll obviously bring Steve in, and then we'll bring in each of our guests again because this will just be for the listeners, and then we'll go around and ask them what fragrances they're wearing, and then are we going to go into some arse, Steve? Do you think after that, or are we going to do what we've been wearing this week first?
Let's do kind of what we've been wearing. Yeah. So we'll ask all our guests kind of what you've been wearing, or in many cases maybe what you've been reviewing or whatever. But basically what you've been smelling this week. And then for the audience recognition section, we're going to open it up to you guys in the chat. So hopefully you've got loads of questions kind of planned, because obviously the more you ask, the less we have to think of to fill the space. So it'd be good if you guys could kind of get involved and ask loads of questions. And then obviously we've got loads of guests. So you can have an open question to all of us, and then Chris or I will kind of filter through the guests. Or if you want to direct it to a specific guest, that's fine as well. We can do that. That's not a problem. So but basically this is kind of an open format for the ARS section.
Yeah, cool. And then Steve, did you say you were planning a scenario for us? Have you got something?
Yeah, I've thought of a little. It's not too complicated. I thought of a little scenario for the finished. I thought that'd be quite a nice little arc back to how we used to do it. So I've got a little scenario.
So it's one scenario, and we're going to ask each of our guests to give the answer to that one scenario. Cool. Yeah,
and it's not too complicated. So we'll do that. Just for a bit of shits and giggles at the end, hopefully. Hopefully it is fun and it's not like, right, you're going to a funeral, the death of a podcast. What are you going to wear? No, so hopefully we'll just have a bit of a laugh. So
shout out to my brother-in-law, Mass, who's joined in. Mass, it's great to see you here. Thanks very much for your support. We've had a super chat here from Josh Garrettson. Let's put that up on the screen. $10. Thank you so much, Josh. That's very generous of you. Let me just see. No, I've not missed any others. Wow, this is great, Dan. I can see why you do this so often.
Yep.
Smelly, I mean.
Chris is like, fuck it, let's do this every week instead.
So we've just decided we're going to do a Scent Geeks live stream every week from now on. No. This is the last.
Yourself.
Right. Okay. So is everyone ready to start the podcast?
Sure.
Right. Okay. So just have a little drink before I start.
For the people kind of watching, what we normally do with the podcast is we try and record it completely one take as if it is a live radio broadcast. On the odd occasion, we've had to just edit a little bit out for whatever reason. I think it's possibly because I've used too many swear words or something.
Whenever you say the word cunt.
Yes, that got blanked out once. So that got blanked out once. So for the start of this, what I'm going to do when I edit it, I'll chop the front. So if we do cock up the intro, you might see us redo it a couple of times. But I'm sure the professionals that we are will just smash it out of the park. So no pressure.
Right. So we don't have to do any of our little claps. Steve usually does a clap through my headphones so we can sync it all up, and then we do a count, and all you guests that have been on know about the clap and know about the countdown. But we don't have to do any of that tonight because
Chris, before
YouTube is just going to record us. Yes, mate, go on.
Sorry to interrupt you. Before we start, I just wanted to shout out kind of, I don't know if we're going to talk about our sponsor, but obviously Mo from Kajal Fragrances or Kajal Perfumes. I've done it. There we go. He was hoping to join us, which would have been awesome, but bless him, he's actually sort of tested positive for COVID and he's a bit unwell. So he's maybe going to join us in the chat, but he's not going to kind of join into the actual thing. So just a sort of shout out and a get well soon for Mo, really. So
yeah, Kajal have been great for us this year. They've really helped us out with the hosting fees and the giveaways. They couldn't have been more generous. They have been a superb brand to team up with for this. So yeah, really eternally grateful for them for this last 12 months. And if you've not met, have you guys ever met Mo, Mr. Smelly? Have you met Mo from Kajal before?
No, I don't think so. No, never.
He's great, fun guy.
Really? Nice bloke, yeah.
Clemence, have you met Mo?
No, never. And I never smell any Kajal perfumes, actually.
Right, okay.
Well, we need to correct that.
Yeah.
I met Mo at Essence in Milan 2 or 3 years ago. And he was just really nice. And I thing I remember is he gave me, he watched my channel, so he knew that I had 2 little girls, and he gave me a little flower for each of them.
Oh, that's cute.
A little sort of fabric flower. So came home bearing gifts for them. I just thought that really stuck in my mind, and I think that's just a little glimpse of what a nice guy Mo is. So yeah, it's a shame actually. That's one of the one of the biggest shames is that we're ending that collaboration with Kajal, because it has been great.
Yeah, it really has.
Jez the Champ, thank you. $9.99. We should probably, if anyone's super chatting through the actual sort of main bit of the podcast, we'll give them a quick shout out as well, because I think that'll be fine to have that on the audio episode, won't it, Steve?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, I think people know. You can explain that because we're at the start of when we start recording the actual podcast bit. We're going to have to explain, obviously, if some people don't know what's going on, we have to explain that we're recording it via a YouTube live, so it's going to be slightly different. So for that reason, we'll kind of shout out sort of super chats and anybody in the audience. So.
Yeah, Chris should break out the guitar. Well, I was thinking about it, but no one else wanted to join in with the singing the theme song, so I thought.
Well, trust me, like you're gonna have complaint if I'm singing, Chris. I told you so.
Yeah.
I did send you my recording of it, actually. Slightly offended that it's not been highlighted or used, but there you go.
Well, it was just better than mine.
Yeah, I guess that would be hard to take. Yeah.
You know what? Perhaps when I edit it, I'll drop that version in. Perhaps I'll use that as the intro.
Please do.
I mean, we could play it. Should we play it now?
You're very welcome to. You're very welcome to.
What do you think, Steve? Should we play it now, or do you want to save it for the?
No, play it. Play it for the dedicated few that are in the.
Yeah. Just give me a minute to.
While you're queuing that up, I'd just like to thank everybody on Facebook that's commented so far very favourably on my blazer. By the way, I appreciate you, especially you, Simon. I know it's you.
Are people on Facebook watching as well, Dan?
So there's just a few friends on Facebook watching.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, good.
Just a few.
I was going to say, Dan,
so
you look a little bit like
the Mr. Smelly version of the Scent Geeks theme tune. Here we go.
We are the Scent Geeks. Scent Geeks, the Scent Geeks. We are the Scent Geeks.
I mean, you went a little Mariah Carey on that, Dan.
The end is magical.
I don't know. There was a lot of embellishments there. I really, I put a lot of feeling into it. Yeah.
I think
you
know from me.
You and Aaron Terrence Hughes need to do a collaboration, I think.
Somehow I can't.
With his rapping, your production, it could be.
I cannot see that happening, but I am game. Chris, if you can fix it, I'm game.
Yeah, I've got a better chance fixing the Middle East, I think.
He's the leader of FRAG-MENTAL, the fucking leader of FRAG-MENTAL.
Expensive pants.
Right, okay, we're going to start this podcast. Yeah, everyone ready? Okay, right. 3, 2, 1. Hello, geeks. Welcome. Oh, wait, what episode is it? Oh, yeah. Okay. The final one. The last one. All right. Okay. Hello, geeks. Welcome to episode 100 of the Scent Geeks podcast. I can't actually believe we've got here. We've hit a century. So yeah, this feels quite strange, and it's the final episode. So as you are listening to this, if you've downloaded this as the podcast, this is also being recorded live as a stream on YouTube. So if you do want to see lots of fun behind the scenes banter that we had prior to starting recording the podcast, then go and do that. Just before I introduce my co-host, I do want to give our last shout out to our sponsor, Kajal Perfumes. You can find them at kajalperfumes.com. There is a link in our Facebook group, Geeks10, for 10% discount, but sadly the Facebook group won't be there for too much longer. So if you want 10% discount off Kajal, then you better get there fast. All right, with that said, I am going to introduce my co-host for the last time. Steve, hello.
Oh, mate, I'm getting emotional already. Don't do that. I'm going to be like, woo-hoo. It's a dichotomy of emotion because I'm really looking forward to this. This is fun. We've got obviously some great guests here, which we're about to introduce, but it's also kind of obviously a bit sad. So it's kind of like a sort of mixed emotions tonight, but let's sort of enjoy it. Let's, as they say at funerals, let's make it a celebration of the podcast life rather than a commiseration of the podcast's death. So let's try and go out on a high.
Absolutely well said. Yeah. Just before we introduce our guests, Steve, have you had a good week? Are you ready for Christmas?
Yes, I have had a good week. I had a few kind of days to myself actually, because the wife took the children to see her parents. So I had a few days to myself. So I basically made the most of it. I lived like a bachelor for a few days. I went to the cinema. I saw the James Bond film. I saw Matrix film. So yeah, I sort of that was like my Christmas holiday right there. And they've come back now, and now it's back to work. So yeah. But what about you?
Yes, I have a good week. We sort of came out of isolation, as you know, on Monday. So it's been nice to smell some fresh air and get back to the gym. Other than not going to the gym, it's kind of been the same for me, really. I've just been at home filming and editing. So I've survived. It's all right, and I didn't catch it. I managed to stay negative. So, I mean, go me.
Mate. Made strong stuff. You're the sort of man that drink Baileys, I reckon.
No, guzzler, mate. Guzzler. Let's get it right. Don't drink that shit you're drinking. All right.
Let's get the guests in.
Yeah, let's get some guests in. It's ladies first. It's the only lady on the stream, all the way from France. We can actually say that because she is in France. We have one of our guests who's been on, 3-4 times? Steve?
Twice, isn't it?
Is it
twice? I think. Yeah, it was once with the three of us, and then once when you abandoned me, which you did frequently. So yeah, I think it was twice. I could be wrong, but yeah.
Yeah. Clemence CC Fragrance, welcome to the podcast again. Thanks for joining us.
Hello guys. It's nice to be here again. For the final one, especially, feels special.
Yeah, we just thought, we wanted to bring in, we thought, how can we celebrate it in the best way? And one of the best things about this final year of the podcast has been the guests that we've had on. It's really it did invigorate Steve and I a little bit to have more people than just us two talking about fragrances and their lives and everything else. So it's been great to have other voices. So thank you. And speaking of those other voices, I am going to bring in a YouTuber who was very highly complimented on the episode that he did, because he came across really well, made some great points. We had a great conversation with Tony from FRAG-MENTAL. Hello, Tony.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Looking dapper, Tony. Looking dapper.
So obviously we can all see each other. So yeah, we can see that Tony is wearing a gorgeous black turtleneck and a brownish. Is it a tweed? Is it tweed blazer?
It is a tweed style blazer. Chris, are you flirting with me?
Well, I'll love you in the balls, mate. So
You beat me to it.
As has been said. Sorry, did I take your line?
You've taken my line far too early.
Oh, I am so sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. But you're looking very dapper. Lovely Christmas tree in the background. So it looks like you guys are all ready for Christmas.
100%. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it this year. Phoebe's of an age where it's, I think, probably the last year we're going to get of belief. You know what it's like. It's really magical, and she's so excited, and she G's everyone else up for it as well. You know what it's like having girls.
It's amazing. It is.
Yeah,
it's going to be a sad day when you lose a little bit of that magic. Yeah.
I think this is the last year.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on, Tony. Steve, I'm thinking, shall we introduce? Do you want to introduce the other two, and then we'll go back and ask each one of them what they're wearing?
Sure, sounds good. Yeah. Right, I'm going to do it on the next person is probably I'm going to do it chronological order. So I think they were sort of the earlier guest, so they're going to go first. And someone in the chat has said their background has got GMTV vibes, which will please him, I'm sure, because he was rather pleased with his background. So yeah, this is we had a great chat with Dan, the fragrance weirdo, or fragrance _ weirdo, as we discussed on the chat. So Dan from Instagram, hello sir, how are you?
Hello, I am marvelous, thank you. GMTV vibes?
Oh yeah, I think it's the plant pot, the books. I think you've just made yourself look quite sort of learned there.
I'm just looking at the pictures in the background there, Dan. I'm just checking everything's looking all right in there.
Oh yeah, there's no images of anything that might offend people. That's good.
Hopefully not.
So again, a little peek behind the curtain for our listeners. So we're sort of a few of us are dressed up and looking a bit dapper. Mr. Rothschild wasn't, so he panicked, ran and grabbed a blazer, has thrown it on, and now he looks like that sort of cool drama teacher that probably gets students to call him by his first name. It's like, I'm not Mr. Rothschild, I'm Dan.
Call me Dan, guys. Call me Dan.
Call me Dan. So yeah, but looking cool, mate. Looking cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right, so I'll go for the next guest as well. So next we've got another Dan, aka Mr. Smelly, who is, I mean, I'm feeling under pressure doing a live stream with Mr. Smelly, because he is like the live stream king at the minute. He is knocking them out of the park, and I think it's only the last episode where we're just complimenting how good the content is on those. So Dan, thank you for joining us, sir.
Hello, thank you for the kind words. Great to be here. A bittersweet moment for you guys, but yeah, really happy to be here, and it should be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for joining us. So that's it. So that's all of. So there's 6 of us. So hopefully we should have a bit of a chat, a bit of a laugh. We're going to do the usual sort of format. To start with, we'll ask our guests what they've been wearing, and for the audience recognition section, or ARS, we're going to actually shout out to all the people that are watching the YouTube live, so they can ask live questions. So hopefully they've got some kind of plan to throw at us or our guests. So we'll kind of do that. And for the podcast listeners, obviously, because we're recording this through YouTube, the audio might be a little bit variable. So it might not be up to the usual standards, but it's just how it is, because we've got people all over the country and another country. So hopefully it's usable. But obviously you can come back on YouTube and just watch it, the full thing in its purest form. So right, shall we ask people what they've been wearing, Chris?
Yeah, shall we? Do you want to do what they've been wearing and then they can end with what they're wearing right now, or do you want to do what they're wearing?
So, let's do that then. So so what you've been wearing this week, and then maybe what's your scent of the night?
Okay, should we just go back to the order we introduce people? So Clemence, give us a few highlights of things you've been wearing this week, and finish with what you are currently wearing right now.
Okay, so I've been wearing quite a lot. It was my birthday recently, so I had as a gift Mila Harris Sentimental. It's like a sandalwood fragrance, quite feminine, smell like cosmetic vibe. So I've been wearing that a lot. It was my gift, so I kind of had to, to be polite, but I do really like it. I do wear a lot as well Oriana from Parfum de Marly. It's very sweety, sugary, and powdery fragrance. It's not usually what I go for, but I really enjoy that.
How does that? Sorry, Clemens. I've not smelled that one. How does that compare to Delina and Delina Exclusive from
It's
PDM?
much more sweeter, much more like a marshmallow. It smells like a bonbon, a candy, and very, very sweet, definitely. So it's a bit more candid to me, like girly vibe. But yeah, it's nice, to be fair. I really like it, like for on a daily basis. But yeah.
Cool.
I do wear it's it's quite funny. It's quite a little bit strange to do that there, but I have it there, and I've been wearing quite a lot in the morning. So I've been wearing Summer Parfum, which is Dan's from the Fragrance Weirdo scent, and I've been wearing Blonde every morning this week. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I didn't do that to do some cheers or stuff like that, but I did wear it quite often this week. So
Clemence, if you're sponsored, you need to divulge that. You need to.
Yeah, I know. I'm
be
not
transparent.
Sponsored. I actually took it on my luggage, and my luggage is like fucking like 20 kilos. So I chose my scent.
It's a lovely fragrance.
It is the scent of choice for drama teachers. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, probably.
I am honoured. Thank you.
Pleasure. But yeah, I really like it. It's fresh, but it does have that sun cream vibe. I love it. And today, because it was kind of like my reunion with my family, I'm wearing Encens Rave by Matière Première. It's like a very incensey fragrance and give me that winter vibe. So I love it. That's it.
Great. Let's move on to Tony. Tony, what have you been wearing this week, and what you're wearing tonight?
Right. Well, I'll start with what I've been wearing tonight. I am wearing, this is one of my favourite pickups of the year, and this is Sideshow by Grigri. Grigri Paris. It's not a really well-known brand, but they do. I think they've got 5 fragrances, and this one it sort of really suits me. It's got this bubblegum sweetness there, but it's got this real manly smell behind that, which I just want to be. So it's got some sort of leather and a bit of smoke and a bit of almost sort of a tobacco-y smell there, but behind this fun bubblegum smell, if that makes sense. So it's very unusual, but it's something it's fast become actually one of my favorite fragrances. So I'm wearing that for the stream tonight.
Yeah, the Chronic's a little bit like that for me. It's got a bit of a bubblegum sweetness, but there's a bit of some assertive notes in there as well.
Yeah, definitely. This one I would say is quite a lot more masculine, dare I say. It's definitely got some more depth to it than the Chronic. So, but yeah, no. See, talking of the Chronic, I wore that today. That's been my scent of the day today. Other fragrances I've worn this week. I've worn a fragrance from Alexandria Fragrances, which I heard you mention in last week's podcast with their new bottles, and I got a bottle through of one called Executive Order, which is a sort of a interpretation of 2 fragrances blended together, which was Office for Men and Elysium, which actually works very, very, very well. And then on top of that, I've been wearing, it is really good. Been wearing Santal Basmati from Evanescence. I've really enjoyed that. And I've also worn Moula Moula from Byron Parfums. So yeah, that's been really my week, I would say.
Okay. Steve, do you want to throw it out?
Let's do the same order as we did before, if I can remember. So, Fragrance Weirdo, Dan, what have you been wearing this week? It's a good opportunity.
So, as usual, I've just been wearing tons and tons of stuff because I work from home, and in between calls, I spray perfume. But mostly this week, things that have stood out have been. I got a vintage Gucci Pour Homme 1, which sort of takes me back, reminds me, I sort of wore that religiously from about 98 to 2000. So that turned up this week. I've been enjoying that. Another Evanescence as well. I particularly love the Musk and Ambergris Evanescence one. I think that's just kind of crazy good, and one of my fragrances of the year. I wore Japon Noir the other day, which is like the best Tom Ford. I've got a bottle of Viking cologne, which I kind of like. It's
I kind of like it too.
Yeah, I'm not 100% wild about it just yet. But this evening I am wearing Fahrenheit, which basically, I guess it's sort of leather and violet and like gasoline is basically what it smells like. But it's just, I think it's kind of it somehow manages to be vintage yet avant-garde, and it's got that kind of it's got that really kind of masculine leather to it, but balanced with a floral, which perhaps would not necessarily be obviously masculine, but it just works. It works brilliantly, and I'm absolutely obsessed with that. So that's what I'm wearing this evening.
Cool. Just going to dive in to shout this super chat out, Steve, before you carry on. Dr. Music, thank you very much. Mr. Smelly, did you also invite Kiki for the live stream tonight? You all look amazing. Love you all. Have fun. So no, Kiki was not invited. Whoever Kiki is. So
trust me, when you see her, you won't forget.
Oh, I know who Kiki is. Oh yeah.
Is that the lady in the bikini?
That's the lady in the bikini.
Yeah.
She's invited to mine. I've tried to invite her to mine. Trust me, I'm working on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because of her fragrance knowledge. She's really knowledgeable about fragrances.
Very knowledgeable.
You didn't ask me to go on bikini on your live. I mean,
well, it's not for me to tell anyone how they should dress, is it? You're very welcome to. You are very welcome to. It's like anyone can dress how they like.
Fingers crossed. You're very welcome. Well, with any bit of luck, or if you've got noodles in your ass, as they say in France, then it might happen. I recently discovered watching the Grand Tour that there's a phrase in France which Clements has since confirmed is true, because I thought they might have been bullshitting. But basically, if you've got your ass brimming with noodles, it means you're full of luck. Is that right, Clements?
Yeah, you say le cul bordé de nouilles. I said that to my little brother today. It was quite funny.
How is that lucky? What's lucky about that?
It's just a rude way to say that you're too lucky as fuck. But yeah. Sorry. Remove that.
Don't apologise. This, I mean, we're going off on a tangent here, but I tried looking up the history of this phrase, and nobody really knows.
I don't know. It's we don't even eat noodles in France, so I'm not too sure.
There was some sort of sports analogy where they said if you're full of arse or something, it means you're lucky, and then it's just, I don't know where the noodles come from, but there we go. So on that bombshell, right, who else? So we just asked Dan what he's been wearing. So Mr. Smelly, what have you been wearing, sir?
It has been, where is it? Green Irish Tweed from Creed. Oh. Yeah, love this. And it's an older bottle. It's really strong. I probably don't need to describe the notes, but it is a great, amazing freshie. And I was kind of reinvigorated in being interested in it because there's that new book out about the history of it, where, of course, if you believe what the book says, Pierre Bourdon is allegedly the perfumer, but I could not possibly comment. And, of course, the official perfumer, as we all know, is Olivier Creed. But either way, the story of how it is made actually is really, really fascinating. And it's a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And it really lasts well. And I don't worry about it being winter and it's a spring fragrance. You know, I wear anything anytime. So loving this stuff again now.
Good choice. Anything else, Dan? Is that what you're wearing tonight as well, by the way?
Yeah, it was today, and I'm just going to. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to change my shirt, so it's really strong. So I'm just going to. Yeah, it's really, really good. So I've been enjoying that, and other than that, this week, there was a new one that I don't have the bottle, but Paul Sebastian Fine Cologne was a nice cheapie that I picked up.
That
very,
is
very
great.
Nice.
That is really good. Yeah.
It's good, isn't it, Dan? Yeah, I agree. So been enjoying that one. That's a bit. Yes, very affordable and a sort of spicy barbershop fragrance. Really, really nice.
Sounds good. Christopher, what have you been wearing?
So I've been wearing a Sarah Baker perfume called Ludo, which is spelt not like the character in Labyrinth, Ludo, or the game. That's Ludo. It's oud with an L in the front of it and an O at the end. Ludo. It's like white chocolate and earthy, damp, woody notes. Really like that one. I have worn a Cognac Cafe from Galleria Parfums. I've worn Sweetie Oud from Roger, and I wore. I wore for the first time in ages. I wore Dior Homme yesterday. I just felt like just something simple, casual, and I absolutely loved it. You know, there's certain fragrances that you wear and maybe you've not worn for a while. You put them on and you think, why don't I wear this more? Well, I know why I don't wear it more often, because I just don't have time to wear everything. But I love it. It's a superb. So you can't go wrong for me with that.
Have we discussed this before, probably on the podcast? But What did you think to the new formulation or the new version? But essentially, because by all accounts, it's a new fragrance, pretty much, from what I've been told. I've not smelled the new Dior Homme. What do you think?
I quite liked it, but I didn't think it was quite as interesting or distinctive as the original. I definitely prefer the original with the iris.
Boring.
For the listeners there, the Fragrance Weirdo and Clemence both put their thumbs down to the new Dior Homme formulation.
No,
so
it's
that's
definitely not.
clearly
Yeah,
not a
it's
winner.
definitely not as good. No. And then this evening, I'm wearing a scent that really brings back some amazing scent memories of when I went to New York to Scent Explore, because I got this there and I wore it from Amrud. It's golden oud, which is obviously, it's got a bit of oud, some caramel and a champagne note, which gives it a little bit of effervescence. So every time I wear this, it transports me back to New York, to Manhattan. So I love it.
Chris, you said you were wearing Sweetie Hood from Roja. Do you have a bottle of it? It's like literally my favorite Roja at the moment. It's incredible.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not giving it you.
Oh, okay.
I don't, but I've got a bottle of the Alexandria one. Sorry, I know people have mixed feelings about clones, but I've got a bottle of the Alexandria one, and to be honest, it smells pretty well bang on.
I've heard that's really good.
I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, do you have a bottle of Sweetie Oud, Clemence?
Very jealous. Okay, you don't want to give it. That's fine.
Well, I'll give you a decant if you want. That's all right.
Yeah, cool.
Steve-O, what have you been wearing this week?
This week, today I was rummaging through my samples. Actually, I really need to organise them somehow, but I was just rummaging and I found Bond No. 9 Scent of Peace. So I had a little spray of that.
The Aventus light one, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's often gets compared to Aventus. I don't think it's a clone by any means, but it's certainly the same style of that sort of fresh, woody, masculine kind of fragrance. So yeah, very, very similar style. So I can see why people maybe compare it to that. I've a fragrance I mentioned, was it last week? The Molten Brown, Vetiver and Grapefruit that arrived. I blind bought it, the EDT version, and I'm selling it. It's a blind buy fail. It's actually not a bad fragrance. It's just not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting like a really fresh grapefruit, a nice clean vetiver. So it's kind of like a super versatile, almost like an Elysium type thing where it's quite fresh, vetiver citrus but it's not. It was, as soon as I took the lid off, I could smell how spicy it was. It's really peppery. And then the vetiver's really earthy. So it's just not what I was expecting. But I think I can see why people like it, but it's just not my bag. So yeah, a bit of a blind buy fail on that one, unfortunately. I filmed the first impressions. I've not released the video yet, so I won't say too much, but by Rado, Tobacco and Mandarin. I've been wanting to smell that for a while because mandarin and tobacco are two of my favorite notes. So on paper, I was like, I need to smell that bad boy. Yeah, it just, again, not what I was expecting. The tobacco is, the mandarin is non-existent and the tobacco is very smoky rather than being a sort of piped tobacco. It was just, I was a bit disappointed. And it's 235 quid for 50 mil, which I think is fucking ridiculous. So yeah, a bit rich on that one. Just the fragrance that I've mentioned last week, because obviously we've not done a full week really, so we're only part way through. So I've also been wearing the one I mentioned on our last recording, which I really struggled to pronounce the first word, Rat d'Orient. So yeah, I really struggle with that, but that one from where's it from? What's that place called? Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. So my memory is really bad when we start recording these podcasts. So yes, been wearing that. So that's probably it for me, really, to be honest. So yeah, we're only a few days.
Shout out. Sorry, Dan, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, it's interesting that nobody has said that they've worn Savage Elixir this week. But I probably, and I can see Clemence's face all wrinkled up. But I should say that I did actually wear that this week. I didn't mention it in my list. And I think it's brilliant.
You've changed your mind because you didn't like it initially, did you?
I didn't like it initially at all. No, it's got that deep licorice sort of thing going on at first.
When you're up close, yeah.
But yeah, if you huff it up close, but if you just catch it in the air, it's got that sort of lavender and ambroxan thing going on. And actually, it's bloody brilliant. And I have completely changed my position on that. And I sort of feel low key kind of disgusted with myself for liking that. But you know,
no, I agree with you, Dan. I think Elixir is a good release, and I don't even get a strong licorice from it, even when I smell it too up close. But I do like the the lavender. It's got this sort of classic cologne type of smell because of that lavender and some of the herbs in there. But it doesn't really. It's got a bit of the Sauvage in the background, but the best bits of it, not the screechy, annoying bit of it. So I agree. I like it.
Yeah, they could have released it under a different name altogether.
Totally.
And no one would have batted an eyelid.
Yeah.
So let me just So we've got 2 4s. Clemence, I assume you're kind of not a fan. Is that right? Of Savage Elixir?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, obviously, I'm not a fan of Savage at all. But yeah, I totally agree. It's quite different and everything, blah blah. I appreciate, but I don't like it. And the licorice, usually I love it, and it was too much for me, so I don't really enjoy it. You know.
Mr. Smelly, have you tried Savage Elixir?
Yeah, I did a video about it. It's to be honest, in and of itself, it does smell quite nice. It's pretty good, but it's just it doesn't really excite me that much, and it is a bit similar to the original Sauvage. I've got to be honest, it's probably a little bit of kind of snobbery in me that because it's too commonplace and everyone's getting it for Christmas this year. You know, normal civilians. I just look down on it. But if someone told me it was a rare cheapie that I'd never heard of, I might have a better opinion. But it didn't thrill me much. I got to be honest. But there may be a little bit of
actually. Yeah, I thought you would have been a bit more into it actually.
That is exactly why I'm disgusted with myself, Danny. I mean, you summarised it perfectly. It's civilian juice.
Yes, it's a sort of fragrance where you need it would have been good to get you guys together and like blind smell it. Just tell you, we've got this fragrance, like unlabeled. You don't know what it is, just to try and assess it purely on its smell and not have any Sauvage kind of background in your mind thinking, I don't want to like this. What about you, Tony? Have you tried the new Savage Elixir?
Yeah, I quite like it. It's got something in it that I'm finding that is annoying me with a lot of scents at the moment. I don't know if it's like amberwood. I'm not sure. Something that makes your eyes itch a little bit.
Hay fever? Has it got hay fever in it?
Yeah, it might have a big dose of hay fever in there. But no, I actually like the smell of it. Like Dan, I think it's one of those things that if you sprayed it on and forgot about it rather than getting in close, I think you could smell really good, and you get that sort of lavender feel from it, as well as that sort of deep ambroxine woody smell that you get from it as well. But no, I like it. I would definitely own it in my collection. I haven't bought it yet because I think it's far too expensive, and you can get other things that are better for that kind of money.
It is fucking expensive.
Yeah, I want to spend my money on other things before I get that. But it is something I think that I'd like to own on the shelf, and I think it does for a designer scent as well. How well does that last as well? It performs exceptionally well, doesn't it? It's brilliant.
Yeah. So Dan, the fragrance weirdo, just going back to you, it is probably the most expensive designer fragrance on the market at £112 for 60 ml. Do you think it's worth that?
Well, is anything worth anything, really? I mean, I sort of struggle. I struggle with the concept of kind of value for perfumes. I mean, I've paid £600 for a discontinued Patou, which probably cost like 20 quid when it came out or whatever. I actually paid about 70 quid, I think, for the Sauvage, and I'm sort of okay with that.
Yeah.
And I may well not hold on to it. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I tend to sell a lot of the perfumes that I buy if I feel like I'm not going to wear them, because otherwise this is a real fucking expensive habit to get into if you're not selling them back on. So I don't know whether I'll keep it, but yeah, I do think it is a really good perfume, but it did take me a few tries to sort of land with it. I don't know, something just sort of clicked for me.
Sometimes the best fragrances do that. You know, it's like with songs as well. Sometimes it's not an instant earworm, but you grow to love certain nuances and complexities. And yeah, I find that. I tell you a fragrance that I find so many people have said at first they didn't like it, but it grew on them, was Viking. Not Viking cologne, but the original Viking.
Totally. And that arguably one of the best creeds for me now as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Strong words. Elixir, I probably need to revisit actually, because I did do a first impressions and I did that thing. I smelt it up close pretty harsh and just got loads of that licorice, which I'm not a big fan of licorice. So then I did sort of write it off, but perhaps I should actually give it a wear in and kind of, like you say, get the wafts of it and the sillage rather than inhale it up my nostrils. So yeah, perhaps I need to revisit. Right.
Yeah.
I forgot to say what my scent of the night is. I felt like I had to wear the Chronic. I had to wear that today. It's our last one. We did sort of veto it, but basically I wasn't allowed to talk about it too much on the podcast, even though we sort of did get around it.
One of your favorites. Yeah. Your first niche, was that your first niche? After you smelled it with me for the first time, didn't you?
Yeah, I smelled it on you, I think. Ooh. And I just, obviously, this hunky, dreamy guy was wearing this fragrance, and I think that's why I had to just buy it. And just, I still get a semi now whenever I smell it.
Oh gosh.
Clemens is going to puke. Stop it, Steve.
You guys have a real bromance in here. That's horrible.
I mean, come on. You can't diss a good bromance.
No, I'm joking. It's cute.
So I had to wear that one. Right. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing on the time trails here, but I suspect we're probably time to move into
half an hour into the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So shall we move into the audience recognition section?
Let's hit the arse.
Let's do it. We love a bit of arse. So, guys, we might have to. This might be a team effort, so I don't know who else is looking. But if you scroll through and see a question, so guys, now's a good time in the chat to ask us any questions. As I said, you can direct it to a specific person if you want, or you can leave it as an open question, and we'll try and sort of manage it. But hopefully, between all of us, we'll be able to pick out some questions. So I'm just trying to scroll through now.
Yeah, I'm just having a little scroll back up while we're waiting for people to throw a few questions in there.
So someone said, guys, I have £100 voucher for John Lewis. Which one frag would you recommend for me to sample? Some brands, MFK, Creed, Flores, Maison Margiela, Chanel exclusive, Killian, Miller Harris. I know, Clemence, you're a big fan of Miller Harris at the minute, aren't you? That's one of your favourites. I don't know if she's hearing me there.
She's muted. I'll try and Clemence has chosen to mute herself, apparently.
Oh, did I? Sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. I thought I was talking. I was saying, sorry. I was saying I love Miller Harris. I've got my signature scent in orange whiskey, which is Scherzo. It's an amazing rosewood fragrance, like super, super fruity, quite sweet as well. It's super, super lovely. And obviously, like I've got that new sandalwood fragrance as well that I love. But there's so many good things, to be fair. Like she's got like, here, I don't know, £100 voucher, but there's so many good things in the list. It's hard to pick.
I tell you a fragrance that I'm almost embarrassed to say that I haven't smelt yet. I don't think. I've smelt a few of them. From Maison Margiela, I don't think I've smelt Jazz Club.
Oh my God, that's going to be what I'm going to wear for Christmas.
I know.
You need to smell it. That's a kind of a must-have to me.
I know. Nigel at 2 cents worth absolutely loves it. It was his Christmas scent a couple of years ago, I think. And I need to smell it. I might have smelled. I remember smelling quite a few of their fragrances in an airport once. I remember smelling by the fireplace under the lemon tree. So I smelled a few, but I don't remember.
I think it's your style as well. Like you kind of like something that is like, kind of easy to wear, not too much on the complicated side. I think you're going to really enjoy that. I love it.
That was a polite way of saying you're a basic bitch. Thank you, Claire.
No,
I'm generally want to smell it.
I will say that. You say it yourself.
No, I do say it. I'm not ashamed. I will definitely smell Jazz Club. The chat's probably kicking off now, going, yeah, I can't believe you've not smelt it. So, have we got any more questions in there, Chris? Have you found any?
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? Just targeting questions to one person, or getting everyone to answer the same one?
By all means, if anybody else has got any recommendations. So somebody's got £100 for John Lewis. There's obviously quite a few niche fragrances. Mr. Smelly, I'm just randomly picking people. What would you recommend? He's like, oh, what the fuck? What would you recommend that somebody would smell in like John Lewis? So they've got a few, obviously niche.
I'm just going to go straight for what I would buy. I would go for £100. I would buy Colonia Essenza Acqua di Parma.
That's a good.
I think that's what I would recommend. Yeah. Everyone loves it. Very good scent. So I'd go with that. Yep.
Dan, Fragrance Weirdo, what would you recommend?
I think for that money, you could probably get Tom Ford Beau de Jour and the new signature line.
Yeah, good shout. I was going to say a Tom Ford as well, because they come, you can get some nice stuff at that price range. So I'd probably say Noir Extreme.
Oh, I love Noir.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah.
Right, you found any more, Chris?
Yeah, actually, this is a interesting question from JS. He says, any recommended fragrance literature other than the new Creed book? Does anyone read much fragrance literature?
The Sarah McCartney book that came out this year, I've got it over there somewhere. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something like 100 fragrances to try, and it's by co-authored with someone else, but Sarah McCartney of 4160 Tuesdays. That's a good. It's a bit like the Luca Turin book, where you just have a little passage about each one, so you don't. It's not like you read it from beginning to end. You just dip in and out of it. So really, really good, and it highlights a lot of non-obvious stuff. So it's a nice little coffee table book.
I didn't know about that.
A couple more of
thanks
those.
for putting that on the radar. That's great.
Tessa Williams has a great book that's very, very well composed. Lots and lots of lovely houses written about in there. So I'd recommend that. And again, lovely sort of dining room table or coffee table book. I think Neil Chapman's got a really good book as well. I've got that one, that's fantastic too.
I've got the Neil Chapman one. I mean, the obvious one is the Luca Turin one, though, right? I mean, the guy's a absolute prick, but he writes a good review. Well, for the most part, some of them I just read his reviews. I think, what the fuck is this? Just different planet. But he knows what he's talking about.
That book's really good because although, you may not agree, I don't, with a lot of what he says, that some of the sort of 4-word negative reviews the dismissive ones are quite funny. So that's a good one, a good fun book to have.
Cool. Just seen this one here. It says, Mr. Smelly, if you were to visit Jamaica for a week, what 2 colognes are you bringing?
Okay, random question.
Here,
I did see that, so I prepared my answer. I'm going to say Creed Virgin Island water, obviously, and Irolfa. I'm going to go Creed. I'll go Irolfa. Just 2 really fresh, beautiful, summery ones from Creed, obviously, Irolfa.
Well done.
Seen anything else in there, Steve?
Someone else said, recommend me 2 fragrances to go skiing. I don't know why 2. I don't know if it's like the après ski and during the ski. It's a bit of a funny one. So it's kind of, skiing is a funny one in the sense that obviously it's typically very cold weather, but then you do get potentially quite hot and sweaty when you're quite active. So it's an interesting scenario, that. So I'm going to open it up. Has anybody got any suggestions that they might wear?
Yeah, I would suggest the Affinescence that I mentioned earlier. The musk and ambergris, and I found that I can wear that to the gym as well. It's quite a good, because it's all base and it's all kind of it's quite human, quite sort of skin-like, almost animalic, I suppose is the word, but it just seems to work really well when you get kind of when you get into physical exercise. I think that would be a great one, and then something more sort of, I suppose, mass appealing for the après ski. I don't know, Xenia's strength for reasons that I can just see it on my desk here.
I'll just quickly throw 2 in there. I'd go for the evening Maison Margiela's By the Fireplace. I've worn that by a fireplace on a skiing trip, and it works well. And then for the day, I mean, Allure on Sport Extreme. Why not?
Good shout.
Yeah,
I think it feels like it's only me and George that possibly Fragrance Weirdo might agree with me in this. I actually prefer the original Allure Homme Sport to Allure Homme Sport Au Extreme. It seems to be not a common kind of agreement on that one. A lot of people seem to prefer the Au Extreme, but
so I'm not an expert on that range at all. But the one that I like is the Edition Blanche one.
Oh, shout!
That's the one that I always kind of go, I like the smell of that. The rest of them all smell more or less the same to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just kind of embarrassingly, I've just realised we've got a Chanel expert in the house, former employee. Clemence, which do you prefer, Eau Extreme or the original Le Homme Sport?
If I have to choose between those two, I would go for the Extreme, just because I do like the tone cabin note. I always go like for something a little bit warmer. That's more my side. Rather than the sea vibe, really fresh, invigorating note in the classic. But if I had to choose from all the Allure range, I will definitely go for Edition Blanche. That's my favorite as well. It's got a little bit of that dandy vibe, that very bright lemon at the beginning, and a soft sandalwood that is very classy at the background, and I really love it.
You got two good skiing fragrances, Clemence?
Skiing fragrance, I will go for Soleil Neige from Tom Ford, probably. Like, it's quite appropriate for the ski, as it's called, neige, and it's quite powdery. It does smell like very fresh and vibrant. So when you do physical effort, I do like quite something energizing, but at the same time kind of cocooning. So I think that could be nice.
Great. And a super chat from Dr. Music. Should we throw this one to Tony and anyone else who wants to answer after Tony? But Tony, what do you think of Dior Homme Parfum?
That is incredible. Actually, I recommended that as the fragrance that would be brilliant for the £100 budget in John Lewis. That, I think, is a great shout for that sort of money. Yeah, that is. It's one of my favourite fragrances of all time. So that's what I think of it.
Okay. Anyone else want to chime in with?
For the ski slope, can I just chuck in?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Sunshine Man. I'll chuck in there. Sunshine Man. So
lovely. All right. Mr. Smelly, do you like Dior Homme Parfum?
Yeah, it's my favourite of the Dior Homme range. It is, funnily enough, I got it to hand. It is an absolute stunner of a fragrance. Super strong, super long-lasting. 11 out of 10 fragrance for me. Masterpiece.
Yeah. And Clemence, do the ladies like it?
Yeah, I mean, I really love it. I think I have a soft spot on the Intense, though, more. But I do really like the parfum as well. Obviously, like, it's really, really well done, and you can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah, there's a bit more of a cacao going on with the Intense, isn't there? Which is nice.
Yeah, and I do love that.
Yeah, and Mr. Fragrance Weirdo, are you? Sorry, Steve.
No, it's fine. Go for it.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, Dior Homme Parfum is like a really great kind of accessible leather and iris kind of jobby, isn't it? I think it's superb, and actually, Tony, if I'd have thought of that, that probably would have been my £100 recommendation as well. Although I understand it's been reformulated somewhat. I don't know. I've got a bottle that's been on the shelf for a long time, and I reach for it occasionally. But on the Intense one, I found the Intense one just a little bit too kind of sweet and powdery for me, maybe. I think, I don't know what it is in there, but yeah, definitely the Dior Homme Parfum for me is the absolute crowning glory of that particular line.
Yeah,
fair play. I've just spotted a question, so I've kind of highlighted that, so I'll bring that up in a minute. Actually, I just want to arc back to I think it was a previous episode, why we've got, we can ask a lady's opinion. We and Dan, I was going to mention this earlier when Dan was talking about Dior Fahrenheit. Clemence, what do you think to Dior Fahrenheit? Because Curly Fragrance says men should not buy it and women don't like it. Is that true?
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, as a woman, I do really like it, so I guess, but I do really enjoy it. I think it was actually one of the first fragrances I reviewed on my channel, the Fahrenheit range. I think it's really, obviously, it's got a bit of that vintage vibe, like it's not really something very actual, but it's, especially the eau de toilette for me was the best one. It's got really something like that slightly petrol, like gasoline stuff. It's like so sexy, like it's giving so much character, charisma, and you don't really smell that nowadays in perfume. So I think it's an absolute stunner, and I love it. And like back in the days, like you would probably like wear that, and all the girls would be like, "Whoa, like what is he wearing?" I don't know.
Well,
I think it's really amazing.
Dan
But I guess
used to
for
wear
a
it
quite
at university.
maybe like young girls, like it's a bit too much. But yeah, what did you say?
I said, well, Dan did used to wear it back in the day at university from 98 to 2001, I think he said. So did the girls like it back in university, Dan?
I have no idea, mate. I wouldn't dream of speaking on their behalf.
Oh, fair play. Chris, there's a question for you. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah,
Says,
I'll just shout out. Sorry, before you say it, mate, I'm
go
just going to quickly shout out Nick for the £17.99 super chat. He says, "Cheers for the banter and the memories, guys. All the best on your next ventures." Thank you, Nick. And one of the best nights of the year was hosted at the club that Nick manages in London. So, cheers, Nick. Thank you very much. All right, what's the question there?
So Andy Thompson says FRAG-MENTAL has been cast as the new James Bond. I mean, which is quite believable. He can have one fragrance for the shoot. What does he pick?
Oh, a fragrance for the shoot to play
James Bond. Obviously, we did send all the Bonds, but we didn't send you as Mr. Bond.
Yeah. Huh. Well, oh yeah, that's a tough one actually. So probably go with something something fairly crowd pleasing. I'd probably have to go with a designer. I mean any of those Dior's would work really well.
What about Gravitas Pour Homme? Is
it would work. Yeah. What have I been wearing a lot of?
Just write you the check for that, Steve. I'll just you send me the address afterwards.
I am going to go for Tom Ford's ombre leather parfum.
Oh, I've not smelled the new parfum yet. There's been a lot of chat about it. I need to get my nose on it.
Just as I said that, Jez of the Champ said, "I think ombre leather would be good." There we go. Great minds.
There you go. Right. Is there any more questions in the chat? Someone suggested for Mr. Bond. They said maybe something from Galan. That would be. I think most of. I think there's a lot of good Galan favorites.
Yeah, I think Galan Derby for a Bond.
Yes,
good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe one of the L'Homme line. Maybe the EDP for sort of a more modern Bond.
That's a good shout. Good shout.
Yeah, Aqua de Parma. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Flores? I mean, is that for James Bond? Like, he has to wear Flores to me, like number 89.
Yeah, but it is.
You like that one, don't you, Clements?
I love it. I think it's just.
Which you wouldn't think it would necessarily appeal to a young woman.
I know, because it's got like that very classic, super gentleman vibe. But I think that's kind of like necessary if we talk about James Bond.
Yeah.
Was it actually written that Bond wore Floris, or was it Ian Fleming or something?
Yes, it was Ian Fleming that was apparently wearing it, but I think he wrote it in a book as well. If I'm correct, I might be wrong.
Okay.
Right. What's a good scent to wear when you're putting out rubbish and hope to brush shoulders with your saucy neighbour? Tony, that's for you. Got to answer that one. Because you'd be dressed like that as well. You'd be putting your rubbish out dressed like that, wouldn't you?
Of course, yeah. I just dress like this every day. So
Tiny dresses like that to the gym.
Yeah.
I've got to go to the gym first. I would probably say, actually, I'm going to divert this question because my mind's gone completely blank. How do you guys do this on the podcast every single week and just come up with something like that? Because
you just edit the gaps out, Tony.
Is that what? Thanks for your honesty. That's great. If you're putting the bins out, you need something that's going to overcome it if it's not smelling very good. So something very, very strong. I'm going to go with something like, let's go with, no, it's not there. I'm going to go with Savage, just Savage.
Yeah.
Because someone will recognise it over the bin smell, I'm sure.
To be honest,
it might blend in a little bit.
I mean, most saucy neighbours would probably love Savage. I think most people who aren't that into frags would probably really like Savage. So I think it's a good shout.
Yeah, I was going to say Aventus for exactly the same reason. I mean, I know it's boring, but you very rarely come across someone who says, "Oh my God, Aventus smells terrible." It doesn't. It smells great. There's a reason it's so popular and so often duplicated.
I've got a question here from Starlord. And I'm sort of curious to see what people think, because I would struggle to answer this, but we've got a few experts / aficionados in the room. So any recommendations for an iris fragrance that doesn't have that dominant lipstick makeup bag smell? And also, what do you think of Iris Malacan? I'm struggling to read with my contact lenses. So an iris fragrance that doesn't have that dominant lipstick makeup bag.
How about I know that Chris, you know this one, Theo Cabanel Oh La La.
Oh La La
is a very irisy fragrance, so it's totally focused on it, super powdery, but I don't think you smell any lipstickies in it.
I mean, I do get a bit of the sort of Dior Homme-like lipstickiness from it, but I think it's got so many other notes. Like there's even tobacco in that one that's offset the floral nature, that you know, makeup bag thing, as we all describe it. It's a great one. I love Ooh La La. That's a good shout, Clemence. Yeah, I feel like iris fragrances that don't have that lipsticky code are more sort of like Oris buttery types. You got Centauri fragrances. Dendera is big on the Oris butter, and Gallivant's Baccara is a really nice Oris butter style fragrance.
Yeah, I was just looking up the one that I was going to say was Ulrich Lang Nightscape, but I was just looking that up, and of course there's no iris note in it. It's a violet note. So there was me not knowing my perfumes, I'm afraid.
Well, good try, Dan. So Aaron Terence Hughes Home, yeah, that's a nice iris-based one. Someone suggested. Anyone want to throw any more?
I don't know if anybody in the room knows the answer to this, but is there iris like scented in lipstick, or is it purely a coincidence thing? I don't know if this is a really stupid, ignorant question here, but why is there an association? Obviously, it smells like it. Is it purely coincidence, or is there some reason behind why they?
So it's not. I can answer your question, I think. As far as I know, it was not really iris. It was more a violet accord in the lipstick that was used before. And violets have a really strong similarities with iris in the smell. It's really powdery. And it does have that violet note as well, especially when you use for Oris butter, like Chris was saying. It's really similar, and we do usually mix the two. And in perfumery, having like a iris accord is usually mixed with violet. So, I mean,
bless you.
That's to finish.
That's 10 days isolation for you, Clemence.
That was a great answer. That also backed up Dan with regards to he's picking a fragrance that smelled of violets when he thought it might have been iris. So that kind of backed him up as well, because there's a similarity in there. But there we go. Not only are we entertaining people, we're educating them. Mainly me, but we're educating people tonight. So that's good. Thank you for that, Clem.
Should we read out Nick's? Does everyone want to sort of go through? Mr. Smelly, have you chosen your Christmas Day fragrance?
It's going to be I'm sorry to keep going about Creed, but I'm afraid it's going to be my all-time favourite, which I do tend to wear every Christmas, Bois de Portugal. Gotta be.
You do wear that one every year, and why? You know, it's the day of the year you'd want to wear your favourite, isn't it? So
exactly.
Yeah. Fragrance Weirdo, what are you wearing on Christmas Day?
I'm not 100% sure, but obviously I have been thinking about it a bit, and it's either going. Well, it's going to be one of three. It will either be Tom Ford Japon Noir, Wydian 71, or Interlude 53.
Interlude. What the extra or the 53, the extra. Yeah, that's a great. That's really impressed me this year.
That's my release of the year, hands down. Best new fragrance of the year. Blows my fucking head off. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, it is fantastic. I actually I've told this story a few times now, but for anyone who hasn't heard it, I went out with some friends in a bar recently, and as I was leaving the bar, one of the sort of the waiters, bartenders that was serving us, he stopped me, and he just said, "Can you tell me what fragrance you're wearing? Because I really want it." And I showed him, and then I showed him and then he saw the price online, and I think he started having second thoughts. But it certainly was projecting a lot, and in a way that I think people were enjoying, because it's a little more rounded, isn't it? I think than the
it's more restrained. I mean, it's because it's got less alcohol in it. It's less diffusive, so it doesn't sort of explode into people's faces the way the original one does.
Yeah.
Good shout. Can I? There's a question here. I mean, Chris and I have discussed this a few times, so I don't know if we need to answer, but I'm curious to hear what our guests say. Jezza the Champ says, for everyone, what fragrance or fragrances hold the most sentimental value to you? So, I mean, Chris and I have spoken about scent memories quite a lot in the past, and obviously, you know, what you wear on when your children are born, on your wedding day, or I think Clem's spoken before about a fragrance that reminds her of her dad. So I think we've all kind of. So Dan, Mr. Rothschild, what is your? I mean, you've got so many, and you go through so many. Do any hold sentimental value? Are you attached?
Yeah. So weirdly, the fragrance that holds the most sentimental value, I actually don't own, but it is the original Kouros, and my dad, who thankfully is still with us, but my dad used to wear Kouros, and I have very sort of strong scent memories of kind of mum and dad going out for the evening and stuff, and the house still smelling of Kouros after he left and stuff. It's and someone sent me a little sample of it, a vintage one the other day. It is still, I mean, it's an incredible perfume. It's so strong though. But yeah, for me, that is definitely the most sentimental fragrance, I think, although I don't own it.
Other Dan, Mr. Smelly, what about you? Have you got any fragrances that hold particular sentimental value? Or
I got to be totally honest with you. I haven't.
Not
I don't
even
really.
Bois de Portugal. Does that have much?
There's no sentiments here. I'm not sentimental. Emotions and sentiments, they don't help you in life. I turned mine off many years ago, and if they ever try and bubble up again, they are quickly suppressed. So yeah, I got to be honest. Not only do I not have sentimental attachment to fragrance, I don't go in for sentimentality.
You've got to be cold to run FRAG-COM, don't you, Dan?
Exactly. Yeah. It's more of a scientific approach, not based on feelings. Yeah. So no, I don't.
Fair play. That's quite interesting, because I think it's that head over heart thing. Because sometimes I think that you've, like, for anything in life, fragrance, cars, music, whatever, sometimes you'll find something that might technically not be something that you enjoy. Like, there's plenty of songs that I think technically this is bullshit, this is rubbish, but I can't help but really enjoy it. I really like it. And then sometimes it's like, for that reason, you end up almost rooting for the underdog. It's almost actually, if it's like, it's just something that you've got an affection for, you sort of root for, that you then start building a sentiment for. So yeah, interesting. You just, as you say, you got to rule FRAG-COM with an iron fist.
Exactly. There's no room for them.
Steve, I'm just looking at the clock here, and we're sort of hitting the hour mark for the podcast. Okay. Do you want to sort of just go into your scenario now to bring things?
Can do. I was curious just to ask Tony actually what his sentiment was, if he wouldn't mind, just quickly.
No, it's fine. Issey Miyake, Load It Issey. I think I've mentioned that quite a few times before. Probably even mentioned it on the previous podcast I was on. But more recently, Plum Japonais. I got that for last Christmas, just as it was discontinuing. It was discontinued, I think, just before Christmas, and my wife got that for Christmas for me. And I do spray that very, very sparingly, but just absolutely love the spices in that. Beautiful fragrance. Love it.
Cool. Okay. Right. Well, we can move on to the scent. Well, Chris, do you want to introduce it with your styly?
So this is something from year one, really, the Scenario, because I got fed up of having to think up of fragrances on the spot, like as Tony can empathise with this evening. So yeah, we're gonna go back to that, and Steve has thought of a Scenario. So this is the scent.
I was hoping you were going to do your scenario.
No, I was just about to do it.
Oh god, then.
Here we go. Scenario.
I love it. Right, this scenario is not complicated in the slightest, so we'll ask each guest But here's the scenario. You are going to Santa's grotto. You're going to go and sit on Santa's knee. But you do suffer from Santaphilia, which is actually a condition in which you are sexually attracted to anything Father Christmas, Santa Claus related. So you want this this chunky monkey with the white beard to find you rather appealing. So this goes to everybody. Well, look at Mr. Smelly Rubbin, he said. So what are you going to wear to sit on Santa's knee so that Santa finds you rather attractive? I'll tell you what, Chris, as you're experienced, do you want to go first while our guests think?
So there is a Frank Buclet perfume called Erotic.
Oh, nice.
Which is very like musky, sexy, sex smells. And I think Santa would, he would not be able to resist it. He would, he would pretty much be thinking he was sort of smelling the beginnings of sex, really. So
Love it.
he would not be able to resist it. I haven't thought about this at all. That's, it just came to me right now. But yeah, I'm going with that one. Very appropriate, I think.
Dan, fragrance weirdo, do you want to have a go?
I'm not comfortable with this scenario at all.
Good. That's the point.
But if we're gonna play along, I'm gonna say Xenia Passion, which is a absolutely brilliant saffron fragrance, and I think the whole Xenia Elements line are completely underrated. But that's a great one. And I know what you're laughing at, Chris.
We'll read that out in a minute.
Yeah, no, please don't.
I'm beginning to think, Dan, that you're not the fun drama teacher that we thought you were with that jacket. You were like, perhaps you need to take that off.
No, I'm a miserable cunt, mate. Always have been.
So, Chris, do you want to read out Barry's comment, his suggestion?
Yeah, so, I mean, I wish we were doing a competition for comment of the night, because this could be a contender. So, Barry from the channel Sensualize says it has to be Sticky Fingers, which is a Francesca Bianchi fragrance, because it smells of Santa after you've finished.
Oh, God.
Barry, always raising the tone, as usual.
Who should we go to next? Tony, do you want to have a go?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ojan from Parfums de Marly. And the reason for that is that sort of apple pie, sort of wintry spice.
Like warm apple pie.
Yeah.
We recently discovered on the podcast, thanks to our French consultant, that it's not Ojan, it's Wajon, isn't it? Is that right? How you pronounce it, Clem?
Yeah, well, I mean, Steve, I told you, I don't really know. I don't even know if it's French or not. So I pronounce it in the French way, which is Wajon. But obviously, I don't know.
We'll take that. Clem, while we've got you on, do you want to say what you would wear to attract a
very old man? I mean...
Well, he's a few thousand years old.
Yeah, well, a very old man.
Very old, make-believe man.
Magic and energy, Clement. So don't diss Santa.
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh gosh, it's horrible. I don't know. I mean, I would probably wear, I don't know, Musk Ravageur from Frédéric Malle. I guess that's pretty animalic, like. So I'm like, maybe you would find me sexy, or maybe on the contrary, you will find it horrible and run away from me, which would be amazing, to be honest. But I don't know. But yeah.
Good shout.
There you go.
Steve,
Mr. Smelly.
Dan.
Whose idea was this thing?
Dan, you've spoken about a lot worse on your fucking stream. You start coming at us.
Well, I'm not okay. So, I mean, first of all, I'm pretty sure now. I would guess nowadays that the kids who go to Santa's grotto don't sit on his knee. Otherwise, I mean, I would imagine anyone who's playing Santa would need a very strong legal team behind him before.
They're not allowed to anymore. They're not allowed to anymore.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. Okay, so basically, that one creepy old man in a red costume is going to be visited by another creepy old man, me, and I'm looking to hit it off with him. I just wear my favourite Bois de Portugal, I think, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what goes on in Santa.
Visited by the leader of FRAG-MENTAL, it would be a momentous.
It's disgusting image, isn't it? Yeah, but thanks. Great idea. Great idea.
Chris, I think. What about you?
Oh, we've done me. I went for Frank Buclet's Erotic.
Oh, you did. We went first. Is that everyone apart from me then?
Yeah, it's your turn.
I would probably go for Zaharoff's signature Porom, maybe something like that. So yeah, I think that's yeah, I think I could rock that, and Santa would like it. But apparently, genuine condition, Santaphilia is an actual thing that people suffer from. So yeah, just be careful.
What is Santaphilia? You want to do something with Santa himself?
Yeah, it's like so like a lot of the philias. Like Santaphilia is an actual thing. I discovered earlier.
So do you think this is just, directed towards the real Santa who lives at the North Pole, or anyone who, any of his helpers that dress up as Santa in supermarkets and things like that?
It seems Santaphilia, it can vary, but a lot of people, basically, if you suffer from it, you're just, you're kind of sexually aroused by the whole concept of Santa and Christmas and all sorts. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm slightly concerned about my Google search history, having to find that out, to be honest. But I did, so there we go.
Well, a good Christmas appropriate scenario.
There we go. So on that bombshell, how are we doing for time? Is that us?
I think we should just start to bring things to a close for the last time. We should thank all our guests for coming on and joining. This has been brilliant. It makes me sort of think perhaps we shouldn't be ending. We should do something like this once every couple of months or something. But there are people who live stream far better than us. But it's been nice for a one-off. Fragrance Weirdo Dan, thank you. I believe you came on the podcast twice with us, didn't you?
I did.
Came on 2 times.
Yep.
So
he forced us.
Yeah.
I just kept harassing you until you agreed to it. Thank you.
Really appreciate you giving up the time, and you are releasing your podcast soon, so best of luck with that. Do you want to remind everyone when and what?
So it's going to be called Les Odorants, with an emphasis on ranting. And
nice.
That's
good. That's good.
It's with a chap called Ben, who posts Talking Sense, and Jim, who posts as Houdini. And it's basically 3 miserable twats ranting about the state of the nation and perfume. And we've only got a very loose idea about how we're going to do this, and it will be in January sometime, probably.
Brilliant. So we'll look out for that. Well, have a very Merry Christmas, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will also sign Tony off. Tony, thanks for coming on. We did. You did 2 eps because we recorded 2 at the same time, didn't we?
We did indeed. Yeah.
And there were 2 of our best. May I say, you were a wonderful guest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Definitely looks like you all ready for Christmas over there in the Meads household. So wishing you and the family a wonderful Christmas, and looking forward to seeing you maybe in Nick's club again at some point next year, Tony.
Yeah, definitely. We need to arrange, because that was my highlight of the year.
Yeah, mine too.
The whole year. Yeah, definitely. And gents, look, thank you for all the hours that you've put in, because we've all listened to that podcast free of charge, apart from obviously the Ko-fi donations. But it's been a blast. So thank you, gents. It helped me through a difficult lockdown the first time round. So thank you.
You're a legend, Tony. Thank you.
I'll let you take over, Steve.
Yeah, Mr. Smelly, Dan, would you thank you again? So I think you were only on once, so apologies for that. The others got in twice. I think it was more time. You were one of our sort of later guests, so we just didn't have time before the end to get you back.
Sure.
But it was a very popular episode. I got lots of comments from people saying how much they enjoyed it. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it, and I'm sad you won't be continuing. But hey, you can always come back. There's nothing to stop you.
Yeah, never say never again, as
exactly
you said a few times. And obviously, by all means, you can shout you out. So if people love these, for the people that are watching, if you love, if you're quite new to YouTube Lives and this is your first, go and check out Mr. Smelly's channel, because you're doing them on every Friday and every.
At the moment I do every Friday and Saturday, and I normally do, or very often, one other. Actually, funnily enough, I spontaneously this afternoon decided I'm going to do one tonight at 10:45. So in just about half an hour from now, I'm actually doing one. So I hope you don't mind me plugging that. So if people have nothing to do this evening, 10:45 tonight. It's a slightly provocative hot topic. No guests lined up. We'll see what happens. So yeah.
Oh, that could be the after party. That could be the after party.
It could be. Yeah, it could be.
Okay, so thank you. And Clemence, again, you were on the podcast twice, so thank you. And a personal thank you for me, because I think you were the only guest we had that was actually like a full one half of the hosting, because I think when you were on one of the times, Chris abandoned me, so you literally kind of helped me out, and so we managed to still put out an episode. So thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. I mean, it was always very nice. I mean, it was. I felt really lucky to be on the podcast with you two guys. Obviously, like I really get along with you, so that was really nice. But most of that, I always have had great memories of me cooking or going to the gym, having my Sunday podcast and my earphones and laughing out loud. Really, I had so many good times with the podcast. So want to thank you again for that, and it's nice to have it still on Spotify, so I'll make sure whenever you want you can still listen to it, which is super nice. But yeah, I'm a bit sad it's like the end, but it's great memories.
Oh, thank you. Don't, because I'm going to start getting emotional, but thank you. As I say, you did help us out when Chris abandoned me, so I appreciate that. But yeah, so that's it. So that's thank you to everyone, and thank you for everyone to joining in the chat as well. You've all been great, so thank you for helping with the audience recognition section and all your questions. That's it really.
I just need to throw a thank you out there, and gosh, my voice is going. That is to you, Steve. We would not have done the podcast if you hadn't have messaged me one day and said, "Are you still up for this podcast idea? Because I am. Should we do it?" And I just said yes, and we started, and it was awful. It was on Skype. The quality was not to the standards that we aspire to hit these days. So it's been a real pleasure to chat to you literally for 2 to 3 hours every week for the last 2 years, 100 episodes. God knows how many hours that adds up to. It's been a real pleasure. It is with a very heavy heart that I'm hanging up my headphones on this, and it is purely, as we've explained, because of time constraints in my life, and I'm prioritizing, and sometimes something's got to give. But I am gonna miss you, Steve. I know we'll still see each other and we'll still chat a lot, but that weekly check-in with you has always been on the weeks when you don't feel like doing it. And as all content creators know, sometimes you do not feel like creating the content. Sometimes when I'd log in, I'd think, I don't really feel like this tonight. But as soon as we started having a chat, Steve would crack a joke, we'd be away, and I'd be into it, and I'd be thinking, yeah, this is why we do it, because I love it. So Steve, thank you for being the best podcast co-host.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Yeah, so I guess I've got to return the favor now without kind of getting too emotional.
Not at all, mate.
I don't want to say too much because my voice is probably going to go. But yeah, it's funny actually, because we sort of joke that there was numerous times where you just get to like, cause we always record at 7:30 on a Sunday, and you get to like 7:15. There'd be points actually where I've kind of got the kids in the bath and done my bit, and I'm sitting in the chair and I'm almost nodding off, and then you sort of wake up and like, oh fucking hell, I've got to go and record that podcast. But then as soon as you kind of log on and we started chatting, it's like it's so much fun, and you just enjoy it so much. It makes it so much easier. And so thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And then also there's numerous other aspects from all of your like design, and obviously the fucking intro music which you created, which was the catchiest tune in FRAG-Com. So thank you for all of your side on that as well. So it's it's been amazing. It's been emotional. So yeah, that's us really. So obviously we're still about. So hopefully Chris and I will still collaborate or collab, as we like to say. So yeah, who knows? We might do some lives or whatever, and certainly maybe film some videos. So we're still about. But yeah, also thank you to everybody again for all of the lovely messages. It's been amazing. So
yeah, all right. We will do our final sign off then, Steve. So I'll begin by just saying thank you to everyone tuning in for this live stream. It's been amazing to have so many people in the room. Thank you to our dear and loyal listeners over the last couple of years.
And yeah, we were the Scent Geeks, and have a week, geeks.
Geeks.
There we go.